So welcome to a peyote stitch bead tutorial. My name is Will Keyworth and we're here in my little studio in Truro, Massachusetts. And I'm just going to walk through the very beginning stages of making a peyote stitch crystal wrap. I like to take this thread 1 arm's length and double it and cut the thread. Take your needle, it would help if I put my glasses on, and I take the thread and just roll it back between my index finger and my thumb, and then lay the eye of the needle right on top and then unroll it. And with luck, it'll go right through. And be very careful to not bust the eye of the needle. It's very fragile, as is the rest of the needle. And just pull your ends together here, like that. Even them up a little. And then pull the needle equidistant, and then to keep the thread from staying separated, I use a piece of beeswax. And it's cold in here, so you might want to warm the beeswax up. Sometimes I put it between my lips, and then just hold the beeswax between your index and your thumb, and then slide the thread through, pulling it with your left hand, and just until the threads stick together. You can hear that's really hard. And just be careful not to bust your needle. Just pull it through a few times. See how it's staying in one thread? And like I said, heating it up helps sometimes. And you don't want too much. If you do wind up getting too much, you can just use your fingernail. And like that, and just kind of pull the thread between your index finger and your thumbnail. Scrape off any extra beeswax. Then you want to take your crystal, which I have a bag of jewelry points here. I'm just going to randomly pick one out today for this demonstration purpose. Oh, that's a nice one. Oh, that's a nice little jewelry point. And you want to find points that have a little something you can weave your beads onto. So what I like to do is take the end of the thread and have it facing away from the point of the crystal about 1 inch. Then hold it with my index and thumb on the left and wrap counterclockwise around the crystal, not too tight, but so that it goes about 1/4 inch, like that, probably 5 or 6 wraps. So it looks like that. Can you see that? Then I'll take the needle and I'll go from the point of the crystal up underneath all of the threads, like that. Okay? And then I'll go halfway through, like that. And this is just building the foundation that I'm going to be sewing the first round of beads onto the crystal. There you go, underneath all of them. Pull it through and go through half on the same face of the crystal. And every time you put the thread up through, it gets a little bit tighter, which you want, so that the thread, this is using the method with no glue. All the way around on each face of the crystal. Then once you're back at the beginning, you're going to go from the top of the crystal down underneath all of them, like that. Be careful not to get the tail stuck in there. If you do, you can just flick it out of the way. So now you're ready to start putting on some beads. And I am going to do some turquoise and silver today. I'm going to do a matching set of earrings and pendant. So let's take out some of these nice turquoise colored beads that I got from a trading post in Colorado. I'm just going to carefully separate these. I'm just going to put a bunch on the plate for right now. Now when you're doing the peyote stitch, you can look at the beads go in between. You sew beads in between other beads. So we're just going to try to get a couple of beads on here. And I like using this ceramic plate because it's got a little bit of friction, so the beads don't slide all over the place, but it has enough slide to where you can put the bead on, and see how I'm using the edge of the plate to scoot the bead up the needle. And basically what you want to do is put on an estimate, probably about half, or you can put the beads on like this and then separate them with an estimated beads width in between. So I like to space them like that, because when you start weaving and you come around, you're going to be adding a bead in between. See how I'm holding the thread with these two fingers, my middle and my ring finger, and I'm holding the crystal and beads with my thumb and index on the left hand, just to keep them from flying around. And then I'm going to add on a few more beads here. Three more. Okay, and then you want to go back through the very first bead on the loop. Can you see that? Okay, and then pull it tight. And again, you can put your needle down and then space these out around the crystal. And that hopefully will be enough to make it so that you can put a bead in between each one of these beads. And so once you go through that first bead that you put on, you're going to do the same where you go underneath all of them, back through halfway, and then back through the bead you just put on. Okay. This way. And then you put on a bead, and you go through the next one. You can see I got tangled up here. look like that. You'll have two beads with the one in the middle. Okay? It'll kind of look like an upside down V, if you can see that. And then you go underneath all of them. Halfway. And then back through the bead you just came through to put that one on. And then you put on a bead and go through the next one. Have MVY playing in the background, some Joni Mitchell. That's nice. Well, I'm just going to go through this, and once I get back around to the beginning, I will start filming again.